This is my partner, Addie Hernandez. She's a black belt in key fighting concepts. She also holds other black belts in subsystems of key fighting concepts. She is my business partner and my training partner. I do a lot of the demonstrating with Addie on my videos. She's the one who moves the cleanest and knows me the best. So for demonstrative purposes, we feel we can give you the cleanest technical approach to what it is we're trying to do. However, because of the size and strength, weight difference between us, I bring in other people to show some of the function. Okay, having said that, let's begin with Hubud. Facing each other in a neutral position, our feet are side to side. This isn't a lower art stability training method. It's a neutral position and a mobile training method. Addie will give me a right chop, not dissimilar to a chop you're going to use in your Kenpo techniques. Comes into here, her target is perhaps my collarbone, my neck, my temple, wherever she wants to attack. When she gives me a chop, I counter that chop. I've now met her arm with my arm. This is the beginning of it. She gives me a chop, I give her a chop. I'm going to show you how I would teach it in a private lesson. That's how we're going to teach you today on film. So you'll have a clear understanding of how to express it, perhaps some of you are instructors, to your students. From a neutral position, this is kind of the caveman approach to beginning of Hubud. She chops me, I catch her chop. I chop her, she catches mine. So this is the beginning, it's a toughening drill. Hubud will toughen up your arms. That isn't what it's for necessarily. What it's for is to listen to your opponent's intent. So after you've done this a few times, we're going to go to the next motion. From here, I'm coming up underneath her arm as if somebody's handing me a key, an idea, in my palm. I'm coming up to here, and I'm saying, hi. But instead of saying hi to her face, I'm going to come across, gathering information as I drag across her arm here. Then I'm going to do what we call a trap. Hubud is, after all, trapping range. Slapping down as I load from my own chop, extend, and she catches. She comes up, clears, follows, traps, and chops me. It's a give and take. She does it, and then I do it. At this point, we are connected. When I go to hit her, she can feel it immediately. Touch response is automatic. It's right now. There's no delay. We are listening to each other's intent. We create a reference point, not dissimilar to the Tracy's Kenpo or any of the American Kenpo, any of the Kenpo systems. We teach a self-defense technique and use that as a reference point, as I've been stating. Once you're in a real-life situation, that base technique is going to change and you're going to have to adapt and flow. That's what this is all about. So in Hubud, we catch, clear, trap, and hit, and she just caught on the other side. That, like the techniques, is our base reference point. Let's take a look at a different angle of Addie and I doing Hubud. Again, as if you're teaching it for the very first time. Addie gives me a chop, I counter her chop and block. I give her a chop, same thing. This is the mirror image. This is how you want to teach it to a beginner. I want to make a note. As Addie chops me, I want her to have a target in mind, preferably the collarbone or the neck. That keeps your elbow nice and low. We'll talk about that perhaps a little later. She's also snapping her wrist here. So you've got the extension of the arm, the full rotation of the gross motor movement of the arm, and then just like our other techniques, the smaller motion to add more torque. We have body torque, you have power. To counter that, when slow motion, as Addie chops me, I don't just create a shield out here or a blockage or blockade. What I'm doing, when she chops me and it rotates and pops here, what I'm going to do is pop out. So what I'm doing is I'm meeting her extra force with my extra force. if she did it flat with no rotation, and I did, which is kind of goofy. Okay, she loads, not dissimilar to your other Kenpo techniques. Then I come up, clear. I'm doing this to monitor that elbow. If she chops me and I come right into here, she may step in and give me an elbow right here, and I just ate it. So what I'm doing, I'm listening to my opponent's intent or my partner's intent. As she chops me, I'm coming up just past the wrist, halfway between her wrist and elbow. And then when I turn it over and pass it across the center line, I'm now monitoring her intent. Then I trap. Once my hand leaves this elbow, I need to fill that in to also control it. Then I chop. She clears, traps, and hits. As I stated, this is like our technique. It's our base reference point. We want to keep our shoulders square. If we start going side to side and kind of turning our shoulders here, Addie can counter me very easily, just like that. So when my shoulders are square to hers. Wherever we go, we're going to keep our shoulders square and not cross our center line with our shoulders. She gives me a chop. I clear, trap, hit. I call it clear, trap, hit. The hit is really a chop, but you understand. Clear, chop, hit. We can also get mobile with this. This is our base drill. Hubud, to tie and untie. If I go to hit her, she can feel it. I go to grab her nose, she can feel it. She comes at me, I can do things from there. We're going to do more of those options off of this in a few moments. This is our base motion of Hubud. You can actually get down. You can go very quick. I can close my eyes and do this. We'll demonstrate this perhaps later. I'll do some movement blindfolded. Hubud. We can start moving around. Here. It's very quick. One of the points I'd like to make is when I'm standing here, if you look at my neutral position on this white cross on our platform, I have a weak point here and a weak point directly behind me. To my left and my right, I have stability. Also using the same cross, Addie can take her index finger and gently push me. I have a weak point behind me. If she pulls me, I have a weak point in front of me. Therefore, you might ask, well, why do I want a weak lower arc or from the waist down? The reason I'm doing that is if she steps in with her foot forward and chops, she has a stronger base. And if I did this, like a karate type of stance, perhaps we have stronger bases. What that can do in training is it can actually weaken our upper arc and or our Hubud, because we're using the lower arc with a stable base to compensate perhaps for a weak upper arc. Not for training, we don't want to do that. Addie gives me a hard chop here and pushes. Well, I have the weak point, so I'm going to fall off of that. You say, well, why not the strong base? Because I'm developing upper body sensitivity and or the ability to listen to my opponent's intent to its utmost, because it's a training drill. As she chops me here, if I'm in a weak base, we just showed how she can push me over, but she gives me a lot of pressure. I just clear it with my hands, thus making my upper arc much more efficient. We're extracting sensitivity from this. You'll see in a little while on this tape how the Kenpo techniques, Hubud lends itself very well to the Kenpo. They work very well together.